into the studio and on the air. Now, one of the pairs that you're going to be listening to in a second or two has been with us before. The other one hasn't. I'm not too sure whether they are a double act or not, but we'll find out in the course of the next couple of minutes. Rick Shortle has been with us before. Rick retired from motor racing years ago, 25 years ago, Rick?
Yes, getting on that way.
Basically, it was all about funding. Rick used to race basically anything with four wheels, although it started with two, didn't it?
That's correct. Yes.
Speedway, wasn't it?
Speedway.
So
yeah.
why did you make the crossover to the dark side?
The crossover was a bad accident, and I think my wife had something to say about it.
Okay, if you want to go round and round circles, yes. You do it with a wheel at each corner.
Yes, if at all.
Well, you got the deal done there.
That's right.
How far did motorsport take you, Rick?
Not as far as I would like it to have done, because like everything in my life, I start things late in life. But I got to sports cars and a little bit of Formula 3, and that was about it.
And you raced against some of the future stars of Formula 1, didn't you?
Yes, Johnny Herbert, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine, all those sort of people.
Yeah, people who are right up there on the world's stage.
You look back and you think, if you'd been a bit younger and a bit more funded, that could have been you.
But how many Brits are there that have been in that situation?
More than you can count. There's so much talent out there, but it's one of these sports where if you haven't got the money, you're not going to get anywhere. You
started out as a youngster with talents. You carried on into your 20s. You raced against some very well-known people. Then the money dried up.
Yes.
Then you have to go and find a living. What did you end up doing?
Before I was racing, I was a plasterer. I went racing, and while I was racing, I was fortunate enough to do other things within the racing circle, i.e. Manufacturing days, instruction. I was a chief instructor at Brands Hatch, and I also became the manager of Snetterton Circuit for quite a while. So it all went full circle in many ways, because now I'm back doing a little bit of plastering and the odd bit of gardening. So it's just like my book, full circle.
So what goes round your veins? Is it blood or is it engine oil?
It's a passion. It's a passion. And I've got a guy with me, Noel. He's got two passions now. He had one passion, which was motor racing, and sadly, he'll tell you all about it. He's got MS, but his second passion is raising money for his charity of MS.
Excellent point at which to bring Noel in. Now, the Noel in question is Noel Wilson. Did you go round and round in circles at ever increasing speed, shall we say?
Yeah, I started off actually with rallying. I was a rally co-driver for 20 odd years. So I was sitting alongside the nutters that were taking us through forests at 100 miles an hour.
Hang on, you were the bigger nutter because you used to let them drive you around.
Yes, that's probably true. Yes, yes.
So you were the one reading the pace notes, telling them where to go.
Yeah.
And if it went wrong, it was your fault.
Yeah.
Not the drivers.
No, never was. No.
When did sanity take over, and did you stop doing that?
It never really did, actually. If I could still do it, I still would. But it came to a situation that slowly, over a period of time, I started to do more and more corporate work, which is where I met Rick. And we met together over at Millbrook Proving Ground over in Bedfordshire.
Which has got a tremendous reputation. They do a lot of secret testing of cars there, don't they?
Yeah.
They've got lots and lots of different styles of circuit.
You can never really tell what the car is. I mean, this car you see is not going to be what's underneath the bonnet, you know.
So they used you for your technical capabilities in that part of the world. You used to go rallying in the forests, you know, into three figures with trees flashing past you.
Yes.
So you're used to going at high speed.
Yes.
You're about to go and do something which is anything but at high speed, and we will be talking about that in a second or two, because Rick and Noel together are going to be raising money towards multiple sclerosis in a unique way soon.
We have
all the time in the world. Well, maybe. My guests in the studio this afternoon certainly know about time. They certainly know about driving at high speed and keeping time to a minimum. But they're going to be trying out two separate challenges for the same purpose and the same end goal. Rick Shortle is in the studio. So too is Noel Wilson. Now, both know motorsport and have known it for a long, long time. Rick, you're 63 years young. You're going to be making a return to motorsport, I believe, because you reckon you still can.
Yeah. Why not? Age is just a number. If you've got the passion for it and a purpose now, I think the most important thing with me is I want to drive a car, I want to race a car, but it's a wonderful thing to be I'm sorry that Noel's in this situation, but it's to have a purpose to go out there and get in the car.
You came in to talk to us last year, and you were going to make a comeback to racing then. Sadly, it didn't happen.
No.
What were you going to drive, and what do you plan to drive in the near future?
I was going to do the mini challenge, the little tiny minis, which was quite exciting.
Old minis,
The old
style
minis.
Yep.
I'm now going back to grassroots where I started, and I used to love those days. I'm going back into Formula Ford 1600, where, to me, that is pure racing.
So these are single-seaters,
Single-seater racing cars.
a wheel at each corner,
Yeah, no wings.
low to the ground,
Yes,
and very, very close racing too.
absolutely superb.
How are you going to be able to fund all of that then? Because to get into any kind of motorsport costs a fortune these days.
Good question. I've set up a crowdfunding site, and my ambition is to put it in such a way that everybody is going to want to support me and Noel on this crowdfunding site. So it's got a double-edged sword. I'll be out there racing for Noel, and money will be coming in for multiple sclerosis, which
Okay.
Noel is doing.
So have you got a car sorted out yet, or is this
Yes,
all?
I've got a team. I've got the Jamin team. Noel knows the Jamin team. I've actually raced for them in the past. He is delighted that I'm coming on board. There's been a lot of years between us, but he's knocking on a bit, but he's looking forward to me.
All right. This is going to get very competitive. I can see this
Yeah.
coming. Because Noel, living with multiple sclerosis, as you do, it's not kept you off the circuits because you're doing your own challenge, albeit at a slightly more sedate speed, yeah?
Oh yes. We've set up a challenge. It was born at 2 o'clock on New Year's morning and spawned by sort of half a box of red wine. I thought being diagnosed with MS was a bit of a problem, really. That I've been working at the race circuits for years and years and years, and I wanted to do something race circuit based. And I thought, well, what can I do? The only thing I've got is a mobility scooter, which at that time only did 4 miles an hour. So I thought, right, okay, I'll try setting lap times around the UK circuits. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, I scribbled all this down, went to bed, woke up with the normal New Year's Day hangover, handed the bit of paper to my wife, who said, "You're absolutely mad, Wilson, go back to bed." So,
That could have gone better.
yes, it could have gone a lot better. So I just sort of messed about with it a little bit and got in touch with another friend of mine, an ex-instructor, who was retiring at the time, and said to him, "Look, Steve, I need somebody to help me. Would you like to get involved?" And he said, "Wilson, you're mad, but yeah, I think it might work." And ever since then, everybody I've spoken to about it says, "Wilson, you're mad." But,
So this is a genuine attempt to set a lap record in something that is governed at 8 miles per hour. How are you going to do it?
yes, that's what everybody says. We're not actually setting lap records. Can we put that a little bit straight? The problem with lap records is if we go to a circuit and set a lap record, somebody else will want to come along and beat it.
Well, I was going to ask
So,
you about that because Gordon Shedden famously drove a garden mower at something like 123 miles per hour. Now, you're certainly not going to be doing that in an electric chariot limited to 8 miles an hour, but, you're a racer, so you're going to have a racing seat and slick tyres and truck batteries to make sure that you can burn rubber around the circuits?
No, we have got, actually, the buggy has been completely and utterly changed. We've had it wrapped in the colours of a friend of mine's race car who won Le Mans in LMP2 in 2015. So it's in a beautiful blue chrome and silver, the KCMG. And Matt Helson's a very good friend of mine who managed to win Le Mans. And we've had it all wrapped up in that. We've got the racing seat on there, full 6-point harness. I then go around with all the proper racing gear. I've got full overalls.
All the
racing
safety gear
boots,
too?
Even a hands device.
Really?
Yes, can't be too unsafe. We've got to make sure that I'm not going to get damaged.
You're making sure no stone has been left unturned.
Exactly. Yes.
What's it like to be on a circuit and going at 8 miles an hour in something like that? I mean, it must still seem reasonably invigorating and exciting.
It's absolutely bizarre. The first one I did this year was Silverstone, the last day of April. And they sat me on the line and they put the red lights on as if you were about to go for pole position. I took off from there, got down to Copse, the first corner, and there was just acres and acres and acres of tarmac. And I thought, where the heck do I go now? it just so happened that I got a friend of mine, Chris Sodgitz, who was ex-BTCC champion. he'd come down to give us a hand with the filming, and he was down there at the first corner yelling at me, "Wilson, get on the racing line." Now, I couldn't even see the racing line, you know what I mean? Normally you'd go through a corner and then momentum would take you out of the corner.
So to actually set these, okay, they're not lap records as such, but to set these times, you want to keep as tight as you possibly can, shorten every corner as far as you possibly can, be as tight as you possibly can, and then it's literally start to stop. How long did it take you to get around Silverstone?
Silverstone was 12 minutes. We did the national circuit, so it was, I think it was 12 minutes something.
And how many circuits have you got to get round?
Well, we're going to try and do every venue in the UK which basically caters for motorsport. So we're not only going for the circuits, I'm going for things like, I've already done a hill climb, I've done Kerbera Sprint Circuit as well. We're going to aim for Santa Pod, the short ovals of Brayfield and those sort of places, anywhere where we can set a lap time basically.
I can only imagine what the images are going to look like as you do the standing quarter mile straight down from top to bottom on the Santa Pod circuit. Ricky, who's the more mad of the two of you? Is it you or is it him?
Well, I think it's him.
I think it's him.
You would say that.
But I think we both got a screw loose somewhere.
Yeah.
But
with the wrong way around, you know, actually, he should be in the mobility scooter and I should be in the race car, really.
Boys, we'll have no fighting now.
Yeah.
Not unless both of you have got helmets on. I mean, it's a great challenge. How is this going to benefit multiple sclerosis and the MS organisations? How are you going to raise money?
Right, we're actually raising money around the circuits. We've got bucket collectors out there. We've also got a website and Just Giving page, so you can just just give in things. We're aiming at the moment. My aim is to make £20,000. So far this year, we've done 10 lap times. We've done 9 circuits, one of which was Croft, which they allowed me to do on the Saturday, the main circuit. Then on the Sunday, would you believe, after a massive thunderstorm, do the rallycross circuit, which was interesting. Yes.
It's not four-wheel drive, is it?
No, there's some very large puddles which don't really go that well with electricity.
So are you rattling buckets? You're looking for sponsorship?
Yeah, we're rattling buckets. We're going to be looking for, well, we've already crowdfunded the thing for £3,000 just to basically get us to the circuits and things. We're working on a plan for somewhere between 3 to 1 to 5 to 1 return on it. We're actually working at 4% at the moment. We've managed to make this year already £4,500.
Good on you.
We hope by the end of the year, because we're actually doing a panto in Milton Keynes, which is the money's going to us. We're hoping to raise £5,000 by the end of the year.
And I have no doubt that you will do that. Motorsport is a great family. Whatever kind of racing you're doing, whether you're driving a rally car, whether you're driving an open wheeler, whether you're driving a dragster, people turn out, they love their cars, they're very generous people as well. So people will be able to see you doing what you're doing, because there'll be images and there'll be stories ongoing. Rick, you've got a Facebook page where people can get in touch for the race circuit stuff with you actually as a racing driver in competition, yeah?
at the moment, yes, but I will be bringing out a Facebook page for the MS as well. But if they just get in touch with my Facebook page, ask to be a friend, Rick Shortle is my name on the Facebook page, I'll get back to them.
Rick Shortle, S-H-O-R-T-L-E. And Johnny Herbert, if you're listening, you'd be more than welcome to get involved, I'm quite sure. Maybe you could have a bit of a burn-up, the two of you, on a track at some point. Final question's got to go to you, Noel. Living with multiple sclerosis, I don't know what it's like to live with multiple sclerosis, you do. How does it make you feel when you're in the buggy, in the chariot, doing this particular challenge that you have set yourself as a competitive person? How do you then feel?
It's very difficult. When I'm going round, when I first did the first couple of laps, we did Silverstone and Brands Hatch for the first two, which are the iconic circuits in the country. And I was so busy trying to look where I was going and make sure everything was right, that I didn't really enjoy it that much. But I've sort of talked myself into it now. When we went to the third one, which was Thruxton, that's such a fabulous circuit and so fast down the back, I just enjoyed myself going round and thought, well, I'll just go around and enjoy what I'm doing. I'm in enough pain during the day all the time, you know, it sort of takes the pain away for a little while because you're doing something else.
Yeah.
And it makes you concentrate on getting the right lines, getting the best lap time you can possibly get.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, we're not going for a lap record or anything, so what I try to do, just to make it look something right, I try to go for the lines. Now, we actually video it on my website. We've got videos of every circuit, so you can go around every circuit that we've done so far at 8 miles there, including the rallycross. Yeah,
but let's face it, rally drivers only ever do it sideways, do they?
That's right.
We were actually on Sunday up at a drift day up at Rockingham Circuit, and I was taking out a friend of mine's drift car. So we were drifting around there. They've just set up a new drift school. Well, not basically a school. There's drift days up there. The next one's going to be 27th of December, and that was interesting going out in a drift car.
You watch. Noel Wilson's electric buggy will be powered by truck batteries before too much longer, and there will be slick tyres on it, even if he doesn't start with them that way. Rick, Noel, lovely to have
Thank
you
you.
in. Tremendous challenge. Keep us posted,
Yes,
won't you?
yes, we will indeed. Thank you for having us.
Good luck.